I'm here. I'm sorry I'm late. Oh my god. Oh, let's get you in. Oh god, I've pressed something I didn't want to press. Hold on. Did that. Get you in. Let's get you adjusted. Oh my god. Right. Okay? Yeah, that's that. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. I've literally just run in the door. I've been in Sheffield having an adventure, and it turned into a later adventure than I planned. And I'm all behind like a cow's tail, and I need the loo, and I need a glass of wine, and I need to find out what's going on. How do I do this now? I've forgotten. Uh, oh, there we are. Oh, right, splendid. Oh my God, you need adjusting, don't you? You're not in the right place at all. Up there, that's that. Oh, chat amongst yourselves, my love, while I get... Bloody hell. Where's my, oh. I've driven like the sodding clappers to get here. Really have. Oh. Oh, don't be awkward. Oh, come on. You're a lighter. Light the bloody thing. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, dear me. Oh. Let me just get settled and I'll tell you all about it. Ow! Ow! Bastard. Ah, there we are. Oh, ah! Oh. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, I haven't got that ready either, have I? Oh, and that's not there. Oh. God, I need this. Oh. Right. Ah, there we are. Ha. Good evening, my lovelies, and welcome to this Monday Night live stream, direct from Windy Bottom, with me, Boaty, who was late and who is stressed and who was just driven like sodding Lewis Hamilton to try and get here on time. I've had an adventure tonight in Sheffield, and it's involved a casino and a rather amazing kebab shop that I've found. Yeah, so not like me to have a night out in the city, is it? But sod it. Right, let's catch up. What's happening? What's happening? Da da da. Matthew Harrison says, good evening, Boaty. Good evening to you, sir. How the devil are you? Do you mind if I just have a slurp? Oh, it's been a hell of a night. It's been a hell of a day, actually. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. Oh, that's nice. Hello, Tyler T. Hello, Jimmy Quinn. Matthew Harrison, are we well? I'm grand. I'm just a little flustered and stressed, and I need a wee. Yes, hello, Tyler T. Jimmy Quinn, hello. Oh, congratulations on getting to, is it 602? Blimey. Thank you. Thank you very much. Not in the right place mentally or physically, but we're here. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I haven't been in the right place mentally or physically for a long time. But hey ho, it's all good fun, isn't it? It's a grand life if you don't weaken. Good evening, Mr. Ben 747. My God, can you imagine that? Excuse me. Mr. Ben on a jumbo jet. Did you used to watch Mr. Ben? As if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. Ah, KKC, good evening to you, sir. What car did we drive back like the clappers in? I was in Brian Johnston, and yeah, I gave him a bit of a kicking. I didn't actually plan to go in him because it was going to the city pretending to be young and posh. I was going to take Stigberg von Thundercock, but I didn't. Oh, good evening, KO. How the devil are you? Yeah, so Brian Johnston, my the facelift of my 225s. God above. I am the actual Mr. Ben. I was on the TV and everything. I 100% believe you. And if I may say so, sir, you wear a bowler hat with a plum. Oh, my Lord. So today, yeah, it's been... well, I'll tell you what happened tonight. I mean, today was normal. I mean, the weather is crap here at dear old Windy Bum. So my plans, which were either to go and film on the Derwent Valley line or on the Hope Valley line and take in a couple of stations and have a ride on the train, it just wasn't the weather for that. I mean, it wasn't the weather for doing anything other than staying in bed, really. So I had a bit of a lazy morning, and then I had the idea. I had the idea that a sausage sandwich was a good comfort thing on a lousy autumnal day. So I decided to go about getting a really good sausage sandwich. So I took out a second mortgage and went to Chatsworth House, Chatsworth House Farm Shop. That's where I went, which is specifically designed to fleece tourists, elderly people and Americans. But they do have some nice produce in there, and I thought that you guys might like to see it on a video, might be somewhere you might think of going. So I went there in search of good sausage and good bread, and you'll see the video tomorrow, but it turned out to be rather a good sausage sandwich. And then this evening I was all set for my little foray out to Sheffield, and for some insane reason I decided to film a short while I was in the bath. Now, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I do a lot of things. I have ideas. I suppose we all do. We all have ideas, and then we're sensible and ignore them. But I didn't. I just took the camera into the old bathroom, placed my hand over my wedding vegetables and recorded a little short as a sort of little ad for this. And I'll tell you this much, it got some good views. It notched up my watch hours nicely towards the magic 4,000 that is just around the corner, but it has absolutely fucking wrecked my thumbs up likes percentage thing. It was just a blanket hurricane of hate, and I did get some subscribers. I think I got 3 subscribers out of it. God knows what sort of people they are. Oh look, here's a shot of a fat old man recording at me from his bath. I'll subscribe to that channel. I want more fat old men broadcasting live from their bath. That's what I want. And they're going to be really disappointed because here I am on the live stream, no bath, no naked, fully clothed. Sorry about that. If you go back, if any of you have tuned in hoping to see me naked in the bath, apologies for the disappointment. Go back to a couple of older videos and you can see me half naked on the toilet. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's the next best. Right, now let's catch up with some comments. Right, Matthew Harrison is Batman, so that's that sorted. Who else could get Batman and Mr. Ben in the same live stream? This is immense. Oh, good evening, Black Lines. Evening all, I was on TV as well as a kid with Stu Francis on Crackerjack. Crackerjack! Yeah, I remember that, and I'm sure a lot of the others do too. Can only imagine if Mustard had come with you to the casino. You pair would be like a dodgy version of the Cray twins. Yeah, something like that. Which one of us would be the fat puff? Bagsy, not me. But yeah, Mustard couldn't make it today. He's got his hands full. He's got no data. He's still sorting house move stuff, and he's trying to catch up at work after having to have so much time off. So sorry, I went out on my own. I went out on my own, my lovelies, into the big bad city. And I went to the casino and I went in search of a kebab, and I got a bit lost and I got a bit late and I was on the verge of running out of petrol and it was all a bit fraught. But there'll be a video to come out of it and I'm here now. So it's all good. How has your day been? Classic Wheels Wales. Good evening, Mike. Are you well, sir? Yeah, I'm grand, thank you. Thank you for asking. More like little and large. Harsh but fair. Blimey, yeah, 602. That kind of came out of nowhere. We've seen the bath short. Don't be modest. We know you had your hands full too. Yeah, right. 602. Blimey, that came out of nowhere. I did another short. What was it? I can't even remember what it was. What was the short I did yesterday or the day before? Did mega well, got like 3,500 views in 40 minutes or something. And I can't remember what the hell it was. That shows you how memorable it was. Oh, it was my fix on the non-closing door of disappointment, wasn't it? Yeah, but I picked up some nice subscribers from that, hence hitting 600 much sooner than expected. But that's rather wonderful, isn't it? Blimey, 600. Oh. Right. Let's calm down and have a bit of a catch-up. Has anybody got any questions that they would like to ask me? Anything you like. It's gone 11 o'clock. I'm drinking wine. No holds barred. Go for it. Ask me anything you like, and I promise you that I will answer honestly. You've had too much alcohol and just ordered a takeaway. What did you go for? What did you go for? I had supper plans for tonight, but when I was in the big bad city, I fancied a kebab. I've been really missing the kebabs that I have with mustard, and I thought, well, Sheffield is a vibrant, multicultural city. There must be somewhere that sells those sort of kebabs. So I had a look and found one. And as you'll see in the video, really lovely people, Kurdish. I didn't have much in the way of choice because they were about to close. So it was a chicken shawarma or nothing. So that's what I had, but lovely fresh naan, salad, but It was only £3.50. And then I panicked because I didn't watch him actually putting it together. And I thought £3.50, and that looks quite small. Might not be enough there for a full supper. So I said to the guy, and he was closing, I said, could I just have a portion of the meat on its own as well, please? And bless him, he fired up the doings and gave me this little portion of chicken shawarma. And he wouldn't take any payment for it. He said, no, brother, you enjoy. So, this is a freebie to add to my main kebab. So that's nice. And when this is all over and done with, I will get myself outside it. Do you see what I mean? There's a wrapped up naan in there and salad. I don't think there's that much meat in there. But it's all good now. I have extra supplies. And that is my new favourite kebab shop in this part of the world. Not just a kebab shop. They do all sorts of special chicken in there, and it looks fabulous actually. I'd like to go there for lunch one day. They've got a sit-downy bit in it. It's, yeah. I'll tell you what, when, next time Mustard comes here of a Monday, I'll take him there. Pardon me while I get a top up. Talk amongst yourselves. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, so I'm really pleased to have found the Sheffield equivalent of the Milkstone Road, and there are some eateries on there that I'd be really quite keen to try. There's all sorts on there. It's one of those. It's the London Road in Sheffield. I'm sure some of you will know it. But yeah, the place I went to tonight was Kurdish, and I'll take you there for lunch one day. There's a couple of things on the menu that I'd really like to try, and I love the concept. I know I'm a bit of a snob and I'm a bit of a foodie, but I love the concept of a Greasy Spoon cafe, and the Asian equivalents are a million times better. And I don't mean offence by saying Greasy Spoon, I just mean a basic restaurant-y type thing. You know, they're just, there's a lot of that in Sheffield. The Chinese Quarter is all like that, all really basic, but with the most amazing food. And that totally dials into what I'm always banging on about, the peasant food. Peasant food, street food, it knocks the tin hat off the sort of Michelin starred bits. And, you know, I've eaten in loads of Michelin-starred restaurants. I've eaten in 3 of the 5 best restaurants in the world quite regularly. I've eaten in Gordon Ramsay's place. I've eaten in what's his name's place, Le Manoir, Ramon Blanc. Ramon Blanc. And I'm convinced that Wogan was right, and his real name is Ray White, and he's from Doncaster. But honestly, the peasant food is just always the best. Or maybe I'm just a peasant and I've got a peasant's palate. A peasant's palate. But, I mean, take my guys, take my Nepali guys. And this is really weird. Now, when they cook the special staff curry, takes, it takes a while. Don't always have time to do it. I keep trying to make it and I never quite get it right. And it's one of these things that's passed down from generation to generation, and each village will have their own variation on it. And to my mind, it is without a shadow of a doubt the nicest thing that I've ever put into my mouth, if you exclude certain breasts that I have known and enjoyed. But in terms of food, it's the nicest food that I've ever put into my mouth. But the kids, the youngest generation who are in their teens and 20s now, they don't want to eat it because they equate it with poverty. And they were all born and initially brought up in Nepal, and then came over to UK at whatever point. And so this amazing curry that's very slightly better than the best thing ever, they cock a snook at it because it's the watery curry made with pretty much the whole of a chicken that they equate with being poor. And they would actually prefer to eat some ghastly thing off the bloody menu that's not intended for their palate at all, which is really weird. But yeah, peasant food, it's the best. Oh, let's go back to some comments and see what's happening. Better get the plan sorted for the 1,000 subs party. Yeah, absolutely. Still open to suggestions on that. God knows when it will be. If things kept going at the current sort of rate, then it could happen before the end of the year. But I've had this before. I don't know whether it's to do with the YouTube algorithm or what, so I'm not letting myself get too excited. I went through a period about a month ago where, for whatever reason, and I wasn't doing anything different or special or out of the ordinary, but for whatever reason, the subs were just coming in. Every time I looked, there was another one. And I was getting 10, 11, 12, 15 every day in, day out, sometimes more. And I thought, well, this is phenomenal. At this rate, I'm going to be there in a jiffy, in the twinkling of an eye. And then suddenly it went absolutely dead for ages and ages. And no matter what videos I put out, no matter what I did, the subs just didn't come in. Now, they're coming in again at the moment, and I'm doing a couple of things differently. I'm doing more shorts just to get out there a bit. And since hitting 500, I've got access to the community tab, which I will undoubtedly abuse when I've had a glass of wine too many. And the subs are coming in, but I don't want to jinx it. So if things kept going as they are, then, I'm on a bit of a flying session and could hit it before the end of the year. But if it goes back to just that dead patch, then it could be another 12 months. But what is going to happen is, because obviously in order to hit the partner program thing, you've got to hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. And I can remember when I thought the 4,000 watch hours, and it's got to be in 12 calendar months, I thought that was going to be a sheer impossibility. And I worked it out and did the sums. And it came out, if memory serves, as 303 watch hours per 28 days. And the 28-day analytics stat is one that anybody who's got a YouTube channel will be very well aware of and will probably be obsessed by, as am I. And I knew I would need to hit 303 on a 12-month rolling basis. And, you know, I was struggling to get over 100. And I thought, well, you know, how am I ever going to do this? But then I suppose that your back catalogue, as you put more and more videos out there, and I started putting more out there, so as you put more videos out there, your back catalogue grows, and they tend to pick up the odd view here and there, even when they're not current. And then some videos started to get really quite good views. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I was hitting 1,000 watch hours per 28 days. I'm currently running at 1,300 watch hours per 28 days, which is peanuts compared to any medium-sized channel, never mind the big channels. You know, Mustard does 100 times that. But it does mean that the 4,000 is going to be hit quite soon. I'm on, like I say, I'm running at 12 or 1,300 per 28 days at the moment. And I'm currently on high 3,600s. I've got about 300 to go. So realistically, I would have thought 2 weeks tops and I'm going to hit that. And then it's just the subscriber count that needs to catch up. But as for the party and what we'll do, I don't know. Open to suggestions. But we will do something. We will definitely do something. Something big and throbbing and exciting. Oh, yes. Ooh. Back to the comments. How much does kebab cost in Sheffield? Well, that's a good question. I don't know. That's the only one I've got. That was £3.50. But I think because it was on this foodie road, I think the prices were a bit lower. Because a kebab, like where the restaurant is, or in my local town, you're looking at about £6 or £7, easy. So I think I found well with that place. And they're lovely, and I will definitely go there again. Oh, Mustard's here! Hello, Captain. How's it going? How's your data? Oh, how was today? Are you catching up with everything at the yard? Oh, now then, as Mustard's here, I will admit something. You may have seen, you probably didn't notice, but I'm just going to have a... This is just to go along. This is my extra portion to go with my supper. But I haven't had a bit of anything so far tonight. Nothing since lunch. And a little nibble just to keep me going would be most awfully good. Oh, let's shove all of that in. Marvellous. Now, you might have seen on a previous video that when Mustard saw where I parked the car out at the back of the cottage, which is that way, back door, you've seen it. You've seen that little spot I've got. You can only get a really small car in there. The only ones of mine that will go in are the 25s, and they only just go in, and they won't go straight in. They have to go with a wriggle. But Mustard said to me, why don't you reverse in from the other way? And I said, oh, that wouldn't work at all. You know, the angle's too acute, and there's no space that side. That's the side by the head, so I wouldn't be able to open the door. And we were going to do a parking challenge, him doing it that way and me doing it my way, and seeing which was quickest and easiest. But it started raining, and we did the drain pipe of dreams instead, and upset a lovely YouTuber. I'll tell you about that in a while. We upset him. Oh, we did. We did. There were complaints, and there have been exchanges. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Do you want to have a guess? Okay. Have a guess which YouTuber Captain Mustard and I offended so much that they got in touch. Have a guess in the doings, in the comments. Anyway, today I was having a look at that space and I thought, maybe he's got a point. And I tried it. I'll show you. Actually, you'll see it on a video. I did video it. You'll see it on. I think you will see it on tomorrow's video, which will be when I've edited it. That will be the sausage sandwich video. Yeah, and it does kind of work. Well, it works better. I just need to finesse it a little. I need to go in at a certain angle so that I can avoid a sticky outy bit, so that my nose doesn't stick out a bit. And I need to get the angle just right so there's enough room to open the door. But it's a hell of a lot more convenient for driving out. And it is easier to drive in. It wouldn't have used to have been, which is why I've never done it before. Because before Nikki put the shed up, which meant that a car was parked further back, then there was no problem because I had all of her drive to use to maneuver. But I don't have that anymore. So with things as they are now, it is easier to do the reversing bit. So I'll have another play with that tomorrow. Anyway, that's moving off the point. Where did I get to? Burger and chips for Mr. Ben, and he is the real Mr. Ben, complete with bowler hat. There's a place up the road that does a cracking burger, and he makes no apologies for it. And why should he? Why should he? I think I speak for us all, Mr. Ben, when I wish you joy of your burger and chips. Get it down yet. Some people saying hello to Captain Mustard, which is nice. Isn't it a lovely community feel we've got here? All of us in it together. Time to get your singles group joining the stream. I'm sure the fact some of us drive Rovers will get the ladies watching. Fucking hellfire. I've ranted about this before on lunch videos at Mustard's. I started the singles network in, I think, 2016, and it really took off in 2017. Now, it used to be amazing, absolutely amazing. A vibrant group of amazing, dynamic, lovely people from all walks of life. And we had this amazing online community, and we had amazing real life meetups as well. People came and stayed here in this cottage. We had meetups all over the UK. People would literally fly to come to these things. And gradually, all of these wonderful, interesting, dynamic people, they all found partners. They found each other, and they got married and had babies and had relationships and moved in together and did all of that sort of stuff. And the people that were left were the less dynamic, terminally dull sods who wouldn't get up and go if you put a lit stick of dynamite up their asses. And that kind of became the dynamic of the network. So it morphed ever so slowly without me realizing it from this amazing community into what it is now, which is a bit, I mean, it's boring, to be completely honest with you. It's boring. You can barely get anybody to interact in any way, shape or form. And as for the idea of actually getting them to a real life meet or out on a date or something, you've got more chance of flying to the bloody moon backwards. I'm tearing my hair out with it. And I must admit, I've kind of half given up and I'm just leaving them to it. And I'm concentrating on the YouTube side now. And I feel really guilty about it because that's my baby. But I don't know what to do. And when all of the dynamic people went, I lost all of my dynamic moderator team, who they're not just there to moderate the group. They're there to create content and to drive content and to drive interaction. And of course, they all went too. And it's just been me trying to motivate 11,000 people to do something, even if it's just to fucking say hello. Jesus Christ Almighty. These are people who say that they don't want to be single or they don't want to be lonely and they want friends and companions and hot rampant sex. But fuck me, to get that, you've got to do something. Do something. That's what you've got to do. You've got to do something. And they don't. They don't. My God. I was so frustrated the other night. I resorted to doing. I'd had like 24 hours where out of a community of 11,000 people, like 4 people had commented something, put something in the group or responded to something else. It's dead. It's dead on its arse. And it's a crying shame because I put my heart and soul into that network. I bought them a dating website for them to use that I bought and created to be exactly what they wanted from a dating website. Free. Did it out of my own bloody pocket. Put all sorts of things into, oh my God Almighty. And I put this post up saying, where are you from? You know, that's abject failure. And of course, when they haven't got to think about it, when they haven't got to write something interesting or insightful or giving an insight into who they are, why they're there, who they are, you know, attracting somebody, they all come out of the woodwork then, don't they, with one-word monosyllabic answers. Warwickshire, Devon. And you fuck me. So they're there, they're watching, but you try. So getting them to come onto a live stream, more chance of flying to the moon backwards. Dear God, I'd love to invite you all into the singles network. I'd love to get you all into the group, whether you're single or not, bring you in as staff and get you like putting some rockets up some bums and getting the place moving and shaking. I'd love that. I would love that. Ugh. If anybody's up for it, let me know, because I'm at my wit's end with those buggers. Where did I get to? What job did Mustard do before his semi-retirement at the yard? Well, he will probably answer that himself. Oh, don't tell anyone. Is that directed at... Does Mustard not know what you wanted him to... Well, I'll tell you. I don't care if it gets me into trouble. Captain Mustard was an HGV driver. That's what he did before his semi-retirement. He'll love you for that at the yard. In fact, I was talking to him about this on the phone last night or the night before. He should have started his YouTube channel when he was doing his HGV driving. I happened across a video when I was just in that time of the night where I was about to eat and fall asleep, and I wanted something on in the background that you're kind of not watching. It's just there on the iPad in the background. And I found this channel, you might know it, called Trucker Tim. And this guy, who hasn't got half of what Mustard's got going for him, although he's a lovely guy, he was just, I say just, a very noble calling. He was an HGV driver, started a YouTube channel, and within 2 years, he's picked up like 80,000 subscribers, and he's leaving his job, and he's setting up his own haulage firm and doing experience days for all of his subscribers to come and drive an articulated lorry and all of that. Now, Mustard should have been doing that. Mustard should be on 100,000 subscribers by now. Isn't it weird what little niche works and what doesn't? I guess that pissing about with rovers is really very niche. Whereas driving a truck is something that a lot of men and ladies kind of aspire to. It's like a childhood thing, isn't it? You know, wanting to be a truck driver when you grow up, or wanting to be a train driver when you grow up, and doing the big boys toys thing. So you've probably got a more available demographic there. So yeah, I would have loved to have seen Mustard doing his channel when he was HGV driving, because it would be made for him. All of those hours behind the wheel of talking absolute nonsense and tramping as well. You know, can you imagine Mustard doing his mustard in the kitchen bit, but doing it in the cab of his truck, making food and tucking himself up and playing keyboards in the little bedding sleeping area, and possibly drawing the curtains on his truck windows and touching himself inappropriately in a service station car park, and nobody would know, because when those curtains are closed, you don't know what's going on. Who else? Let's have a look. Where did I get to? Captain Mustard says that he didn't have a party for his 1,000 subs. Bloody pansy. Why didn't you have a party? You should have had a party. Well, just because you didn't have one doesn't mean that I shouldn't. We'll make it a joint party for my 1,000 and your 1,000. Slightly belated on your part. Thankfully, the bath video didn't contain Boaty's extra portion. I was very careful. I wafted the foam up to the requisite areas, and then cupped myself as well, just in case. I don't know why I did that. It's absolutely slaughtered my bloody channel average video likes. I went from 99% down to about 3. Bloody hell. And probably earned myself a reputation as an old pervert. He's resorting to porn for views. I'm not proud. I'll do anything. Oh, Ali Max just popping in to say a quick hello. Needs to get up in the morning. So hit the like button for me. Thank you for that like button hitting, and have a good night, have a good kip, and have a good day tomorrow. Thanks for popping in, dude. Good morning, sir. Wish I could join you with a cheeky glass of wine watching this. May have a few funny looks in the office if I cracked a bottle open. It's Chris Mills. Everybody, welcome Chris Mills. He was like my best friend in high school, and we had some adventures together. And he is now living in the land down under, which is why he said good morning. But hey, Chris, thanks for joining us, mate. We definitely need to have that catch up. Hope's all good with you. But making money on YouTube seems like a good idea. Well, yeah, easier said than done for some of us. I might start a religious channel and see if I can make a profit. Oh, God above. That's one of those jokes that doesn't work so well when you have to write it down and spell it wrong, but it is a good joke. Start a religious group and see if you can make a profit. Maybe I should start a religious group. I am a minister of the church. I am one of the chosen few. I represent the FSM down here on earth, apparently. I'm propelled towards the masses with his nerdly appendage in my crevice, driving me forward to spread the good word amongst the many. Maybe I should do that in a channel. I might try that, actually. I might try that. How's that as a channel idea? The Reverend Boaty, and I could preach to people and do live exorcisms and weddings and funerals and shit. That is actually, with a glass of wine or two down, that is a splendid idea. I might do that just for shits and giggles, because it will amuse me. The Reverend Boaty. Watch this space. Reminds me of the comedy Dear John Boaty. I vaguely remember that. I can picture the guy. Side parting, dark hair, looked a bit like Hitler without the moustache. I think it was a sitcom, and I think it was it one of those middle-aged single things? The title suggests that the character got a Dear John letter, as in, it wouldn't be a Dear John letter these days, would it? It'd be a bloody email or a tweet or something. Dear John, I'm off. Bye. There's a question. The last time you were dumped, how were you dumped? And the last time you dumped someone, how did you do it? I'd like to know the answers to that. I might put it on the community tab tomorrow as well. Excuse me, I need a puff. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, kebab. I'm looking forward to this kebab. Oh, and I want to talk to you about another sitcom that I watched today from the long ago, and it was brilliant. Again, for anybody who joined late, I was late myself because I've been out in Sheffield having fun, and I walked into the cottage at like 2 minutes past 11, so I was all flustered and I wasn't ready for anything. Oh, that's better. Sometimes, my love, you just need a puff. Know what I mean? Where was I? Oh, Dear John. Yeah, sitcom. Watched it in bed this morning, the very first episode. I've forgotten about it, and it was brilliant. Who remembers this? Chance in a Million. Who remembers Chance in a Million? Brenda Blethyn, Simon Callow, and it was brilliant. I'm going to catch up on some more episodes tonight with my kebab, and I shall probably fall asleep to one because, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, I take an iPad to bed with me. I do. And I like to fall asleep with something in the background. And then now, because I'm sad, God above, Mustard does this as well. He won't admit it, but I'm telling you, he does. He admitted it to me once, and he's denied admitting it, but he does. And any of you guys who've got channels as well, I bet you do it too. First thing you do in the morning, before you have a wee, before you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, before you fondle your significant other, you check your device to see if you've picked up views and subscribers in the night. You do, I know you do, and don't you dare deny it. And Mustard's the worst. And I do that. I totally do that. And I'm not proud, but neither am I ashamed. So there you are. Chance in a Million, absolutely brilliant. And I watched episode 1 this morning, and my God, didn't they set the tone? Brenda Blethyn's clothes fell off. They fell off in most episodes, as I recall, leaving her in silken underwear. And indeed, probably wouldn't get away with this now. The first episode closed. I've just remembered why I watched it. Somebody mentioned it on Twitter because the guy that wrote it was his school teacher. And the first episode closed with Brenda Blethyn halfway through a window with her satin-clad arse on full display. And I remembered watching it as a kid with my dad and some bits of it. Driving down road, buzzard through windscreen and stuff like that. And what was the one? He was on a date on the beach and call of nature, went behind the dunes, shot in the buttocks by a random regiment on manoeuvres. And it was all that sort of thing, and it was brilliant. So I'm hoping that all of the episodes are on YouTube, and I'm going to catch up with them. Who else remembers Chance in a Million? One of the best things from the 1980s. Simon Callow must have had a blast making that. What a great character. Brenda Blethyn was just good in everything she did. KO's down to meet some singles. Come in the group, dude. Are you actually single? If you're actually single, you can come in genuinely. But I warn you, it is dead. And if you can get things moving, then you're a better man than I. We need a team of us to go in there and shake it up. And I don't care if we offend people, and I don't care if they bugger off. I've got 11,000 lurkers, and I'd swap them all for 12 dynamic people. I really would. Let's do it. Let's get in there, and because these are people that need. We're not being cruel to them. They're not happy. A lot of them, many of them, they're really not happy. Probably for bloody good reason. But they're not helping themselves. I've ranted about this loads of time. Jesus Christ. You ask them what they're looking for. Anything with a pulse. Anything with a recent pulse. Oh, no. I've done this rant too many times. Semi-retirement. That sounds something like porn stars do when it stops working. That's quite good. I wanted to be a truck driver when I was younger. Oh, this is Ali Mack, who went to bed, allegedly, about half an hour ago, but who may still be with us. Turned out to be better at being a mechanic. Right. There you go. I'm sure you earn more money. Greetings from sunny Melbourne. Hey Chris. Oh, it's Melbourne. I forgot that. Blimey. Sunny. Bastard. You want to see the weather here today? Fuck you now. I tell you what, when I can figure out that time difference is going to be a problem, it would be cool if Chris came on and hosted one of these with me, and we talked about our school days, because God, yeah, we've both gone a long way since Arrowvale High School, haven't we, mate? Dear me, yeah. Right. What else we got going on? Boaty, are you originally a Brummie, unless I've got my accent wrong? Yes and no is the honest answer to that. Yes and no. Yes, I do have a Brummie accent. I'm originally from South Wales. I'm from a Welsh village and a Welsh-speaking village and a Welsh-speaking family. We moved to Birmingham when I was very, very, very small. And then we moved from Birmingham to Worcestershire when I was about 6. But those couple of years were enough to give me a Brummie twang. And it kind of annoys me and it kind of doesn't. It is when you're Welsh, and then when you've lived all over the world, you can imagine how kind of warming but also kind of annoying it is when you're in a department store on the other side of the world, literally as far away pretty much as you can get, and in a country where it's not like being in a European country where it's kind of different and kind of the same. Everything is different. The language, the alphabet, just everything. It's the biggest culture shock imaginable. And you're in a department store because your fiance at the time, your fiance is in her home city and she wants to buy you a kimono, which was a story in itself. She went to this bloody department store to buy me a kimono, a silk kimono, as a surprise present. And because it was a surprise, I wasn't there with her. And she was trying to tell the assistant that, no, this is not big enough, this is not big enough, this is not big enough. And the assistant sort of said, well, how big is your partner? And she sort of went up to 6'5", which she could probably barely reach. I'm talking about Layun. And the assistant sort of went, like 3, but not in English, obviously. But so you're in that department store, you're on the other side of the world, you're feeling as if you're on a different bloody planet, first time you've been there, and suddenly you hear, and you're talking to your missus, not thinking that you would be heard or understood in this sea of Chinese babble. And then suddenly you hear a voice saying, all right, mate, you're from Birmingham. And you think, fucking hell, you can't get away from it, can you? You just can't get away from it. Despite not coming from Birmingham and despite the majority of my growing up being in Worcestershire, I do have a Birmingham accent, unquestionably. And I went to a public school as well. They did their best to beat it out of me. If any of you, are not British, in Britain, a public school is a fee-paying school that's not available to the public unless they can afford to pay it. So it shouldn't be called a public school, but it is. So there you go. Where was I going with all of this? Well, yeah, but Brummie accent, yeah. Hey ho. Oh yeah, and then I kind of went back to Birmingham because that's where my business was, and that's where I kind of socially grew up, and that's where I I played when I was in my 20s and 30s. So, yeah, rummaging, there you go. Dear John, written by John Sullivan, yeah. I got ordained by the online church, but it's only relevant in America. Okay, well, I can ordain you in my church and it will be relevant all around the world. We're one of the fastest growing religions around, if not the fastest growing. And every month that goes by, we become officially accepted in another country. We're certainly very big in Europe at the moment. We're not one of these tiny little, what's the word where I can't remember the word for it, but we are a worldwide thing, and rightly so. It's a jolly good wheeze. We need to create a segment in chat for when he goes for a tinkle. I haven't had my tinkle yet. I kind of I did the puff instead, and I'm ready for another puff now. I only had a single puff. I haven't yet had a tinkle. I've managed to quell it. But yeah, my mate Steve, who is the world's fastest talker, Guinness Book of Record holder, and you might have seen him on one of my videos, The Great Wiper Debate. He does a lot of these things, and I've guested on his, and one day I will get him to guest on here. And he has all sorts of, he's much more technical than me, and technologically minded. In fact, he will be doing his live stream even now as we speak, which is why Tracy isn't here, because she's a regular co-host on his. And Tracy will probably rock up, what time is it? Anytime around now when his finishes, and she comes in for the dregs of this one. But he's got all sorts of technical things to cover when he goes to the bog or does whatever. So I should have something like that, but I won't. But I might handwrite a sign that I can just put here saying, "Gone for a fag, talk amongst yourselves." I wish I was there with you, actually. I know you said the same last week, and it'll happen one day, dude. Wasn't to be this week, but we will have our drunken night, and we will have our joint live stream, possibly many of them. Or we can get our act together and work out how to do it remotely, if we both get the relevant software. But you need to get all of your stuff sorted and get your He's not got internet until the end of the month, bless him. And he's trying to run a YouTube channel, which brings him income, let's remember. He's not a wanker like me that does it just to show off. He actually gets paid for doing it. And he's got a big old audience. And he's bankrupting himself with no internet, paying for copious amounts of data to try and keep his channel going. Bless him. Get everything sorted and we'll soon sort something out. I could do with some of that wine. There's always wine going spare. And you're red wine, aren't you? I've got some lovely red wine because, of course, I can't drink red wine. So all of the red wine I've got is for guests. And I often get given red wine. My wine is split in Windy Bum. My white wine is here in the kitchen because this is where my wine fridge is. The wine fridge is down underneath there. You've got the big fridge freezer here, but down underneath there you've got the wine fridge and the curry freezer. But all of my red wine and my spirits, which I no longer drink, are all on the booze stand, which is in the front parlour. And there's some nice red there. There's some Harrods Claret that was, yeah, there's some really good red wine. So you would never, nobody leaves Windy Bums sober. Not if they're here at night. I mean, if they leave during the day, they can get away with it. Even I don't drink during the day. But nobody goes to bed here sober. And you wouldn't either, Captain. Not that you need much encouragement. As a dumper face to face, as a dumpee, she did it by email. Does that make you old fashioned? So, Chris, my schoolmate Chris, with whom, and I told you this the other night, I'm not sure if Chris was watching, but I told you that we went to the West Midlands Safari Park and went on that roller coaster about 649,000 times in a row. So he was, the last time he dumped somebody, he did it face to face, which I wonder how long ago that was, because that's quite a brave move. Now, I'm with you. My last relationship ended with me dumping her. Now, that's Chinese madam. And I did do it face to face. I was brave. But then, of course, I was living with her. She was living here at Windy Bum. So it was kind of difficult not to do it face to face, really. And as a dumpee, she did it by email. So he dumped face to face. He was dumped by email. I'm trying to remember. Now, this is going to sound awful, but I don't think I've ever been dumped. Now, I've been divorced, and that was her idea. But I wasn't entirely dumped because she didn't want the relationship to end. She wanted the marriage to end, and she wanted a financial settlement, which meant that everything went into her name solely. But she wanted the relationship to carry on. She just wanted that financial security. And we kind of went down that road. So during and after the divorce, we were still kind of an item. And but as for the purposes of the divorce, I was by then living, I'd done the 5 months in that awful semi-detached, and I was then living here. And, you know, I was spending some time at the marital home. She would spend some time here. But I was kind of living my own life. And I just gradually realised that I deserved better. That it was a bit off. You know, it wasn't a very nice thing to do, really. I gave her everything in the divorce. I didn't contest it in any way, shape or form, which is why I'm as poor as I am now. Yeah, so I can't remember ever being dumped. And as far as being the dumper, I normally do, well, the last one I did face to face. I'm kind of a coward, so I would probably do it by email if I could get away with it, I think. Or would I? I don't know. Let's hear from the rest of you. Oh, that's nice and cool. KO, he is single. You're welcome to join. Don't expect anything to be happening. You'll find that it's a huge community where nothing happens. But you're more than welcome. It's just search for UK Singles Network, and that'll take you to the website where there are links to everything, and including the main community group, which is on Facebook and is called UK Singles Community, I think. Never seen it, but now I want to. That's Mustard said that. What have you not seen? Oh, are we going back to Chance in a Million? YouTube it. YouTube Chance in a Million, Series 1, Episode 1. And you'll fall in love with it. It's 11 a.m. in Melbourne. I'm guessing that was 13 minutes ago. Bloody hell, 11 a.m. Shouldn't you be at work? You shouldn't be watching this crap. You should be working. You're in an office. You're being paid a goodly amount. I love the idea. Isn't this the wonder of this technological age? You know, you wouldn't have believed this possible not all that long ago. I'm live streaming via the wonder of the interweb from my little cottage here in the arse end of nowhere in the Peak District. And my old school friend is watching me from his work office in Melbourne, Australia. You gotta love this crazy world. Tracy's here. I told you she'd come here when Woody finished his live stream. Evening, Tracy. Just finished streaming. Glad to see you still on. Missed you last Monday. Yeah, I was talking just before you got here. I was talking about, they were saying that I need to have something up when I need to go to the loo, or when more, I don't go to the loo, but when I need to go for a fag. And I was saying that Steve is much more organised than I am, and he's got stuff organised for all of that. I then went on to say that I'd love to get him on here doing a co-host, and that he would be live streaming right now, and that's why you're not here, Tracy, because you are his regular co-host. But I said you would be here when his live stream finished, and here you are. Hello, my darling. Sorry you had to see me in the bath. Somebody passed Tracy the mind bleach. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Just finished. Ways. Wood is finished with you. You had a large cock on screen today. I won't do the obvious joke. What Facebook person complained to you? I'm not allowed to say. Excuse me a moment. Right, we've got, how long have we got left? We've got about a quarter of an hour. What should we talk about? Tracy, you have just joined us. You can decide the next topic of discussion while I go and have half a puff and a bit of kebab. Oh, that's dry. Bit dry. Half a puff is better than no puff. Now then, diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-diddly, diddly-doo. Tracy's topic. There's a feature. Tracy's topic. Let's give it a sting. Tracy. Oh no, I'll come up with something. What do you think about the elasticity of underwear? That was one of your first questions to us back in the day. Yeah, I did. I co-hosted one of Steve, the world's fastest talker. I co-hosted one of his live streams. Oh no, this was afterwards, wasn't it? It was on one when I wasn't on. And I was just throwing random questions at them. Because when I asked that question, Tracy, it was uppermost in my mind because it was before I finally bit the bullet and bought underwear. Because I was a 51-year-old man and I never bought my own underwear. My mother bought my underwear and then my partners bought my underwear. And I suddenly found myself in a situation earlier this year where my underwear, well, quite frankly, it was past its best. And the elasticity was no longer terribly elastic. And it was just like wearing a kind of tea towel around your nether regions. And I'm not a man who's comfortable with that. I can't wear boxer shorts. I have to wear briefs or hipsters because I like to feel that everything is fully under control. I don't like anything left loose or flappy. I like it nicely bunched up and in its place firmly. Um, and I found myself with this terrible underwear and no idea of how to replace it. And I did try. I'm not an idiot. I'm quite a capable man. You know, I've run businesses and stuff and I can wipe my own bottom. So I went to buy some underwear, but I just panicked and, you know, the choices and I didn't know what I wanted and I didn't know what size I was um, and I just couldn't go through with it. It was awful. Um, and I went through this terrible 6 month period where um, where I kept getting my never eat shredded wheat, my easterly, or as you look at it, westerly plum compromised, especially in my Rover 45. And basically, my plum would escape from my underpant, which was most uncomfortable. And having escaped, it could then easily become compromised during some form of a maneuver. And a compromised testicle can be quite painful. And then my little tinkle would start escaping as well. And it was a very difficult time. On the first Project Nigel meetup, I spoke about it at some length when people were eating their sandwiches, which is probably why I wasn't invited back to the second one. So that was why I asked that question. And specifically, I remember that I was trying to mitigate the effects of the underpant that wasn't underpanting. And I discovered that if you dry your underpants on the radiator, which is my want, then it doesn't re-elasticize the elasticy bit. Whereas if you put your underwear into a tumble dryer, it kind of shrinks and brings everything down. So I found that some tumble dried pants would be slightly more effective than the radiator dried ones. So that was why I asked that question. That was interesting, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Is that the same as the elasticity of demand? My God, elasticity of demand. Okay, here's a question for you. Let's see who out there has studied economics. Give me an example of a Giffen good. A Giffen good. And if you don't know what a Giffen good is, a Giffen good is a good for which demand will increase as income decreases. I did a degree in economics. What can I tell you about elasticity of demand? My economics master was a guy called John Bishop. Oh, not that John Bishop. He was another John Bishop. Only just made that connection. I'm just an ordinary bloke. No, terrible impression. And I remember he drew this demand curve and demanded of us, the group, what was special about this demand curve. and it was in the very, very early days of the course. And he went round the whole bloody room, and everybody had went through everything. You know, it was elastic, it was inelastic, it was perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic. You name it, people named it. And he got to me, and I didn't have a clue. So I just said, "Can it light its own farts?" And things went downhill from there, really. I'll tell you the story about my college days one day. We'll do it in a Potted History of Boaty episode. I ended up being banned from the premises after I tried to throw my year head or year tutor. I tried to throw him out of an upstairs window. Genuine attempt. Didn't succeed, but I bloody tried. And the spoons question, large bowl, small bowl. I can't remember what the spoon question was. Oh God, I think something had happened at the restaurant that day, and one of the waitresses and I had gone off on a riff. Was it about, would you prefer a spoon with a long handle and a small bowl, or a spoon with a large bowl and a small handle? I can't remember. Boxer briefs changed the game. Old school boxers were buggers for losing all elasticity at the wrong time. Well, old school boxers had no elasticity. Well, they had elasticity around the waist, which is fine for keeping them hoisted, but they had no elasticity around the wedding vegetables. And that's where I want my elasticity. Yeah, I need it around the waist because I don't want them falling around my ankles. But I want my gentleman's sausage and wedding vegetables, I want them to be elasticized. I want them to be empouched, embraced, held in check. And to me, that is an essential in my underpants. Half a puff. Yeah, half a puff. Not even a full puff. I'm going for another half a puff in a minute. No homophobic midget jokes, please. Boaty white pants. I do not wear white pants. I do not have the sort of lifestyle or the sort of diet that would support white pants. My pants are as black as the night, matey. I have a picture in my mind of Boaty in Speedos. Not good. No. Pass the mind bleach again. Panic buying pink lacy extra elastic doings in Primark. I did my panic buying in Sainsbury's. I wanted to go to Marks and Spencer because in my mind, underwear should be bought from Marks and Spencer, and I still believe that. But that would mean going into town and parking and stuff, and I couldn't be asked. And there's a Sainsbury's right by the restaurant, and they sell underpants. So it took me about 30 goes, but I eventually bought some. And I'm very happy with them. Very happy with them. They're splendid. I promise not to show you. Well, maybe one day. Mr. Ben 747. Giffen Good bread. Great example. Yeah, totally. Because when your income goes down, you will buy more of the staples and you will fill up on those. And bread is one of the ultimate cheap staples. So yeah, perfect example. KKC, I did economics in my banking degree. How about cheap cuts of meat? Yep, totally. Again, another great example of a Giffen Good. Not the one I was thinking of, but Project Nigel says, I thought that was just a joke. You thought, what was just a joke? I've lost track. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just opening my mouth and letting words come out. I don't know what I'm saying when I'm saying it. You can't expect me to remember it as well. Spoon. Do you prefer a small bowl with a long handle? It was that question. Yeah. Nah. I will show you my current favourite spoon. You may have seen it on a video last week. That is my current favourite spoon. Does that answer your question? This is the spoon I deploy in order to eat or drink my Asian street soup that I'm making all the time now and that I love. It's awesome. Oh, I put that back the wrong way around. Thank God I spotted it. I would never sleep. Half a puff. Half a puff, half a puff, half a puff, onwards. Onward into the valley of death. Road to 500. Or was it 600? Fair few of them anyway. Another half a puff done. Tis a nice spoon, isn't it? I know what I would like to discuss. We should be finishing about now. But something quite touched me. When I first started watching YouTube, long before I started doing anything myself, I had an idea at the back of my mind about trying to make or get made. It was before I bought all of the Rovers. I had the idea of trying to get a small van or people carrier converted into an overnight thing. And my idea was that over this summer just gone, and it's still something I would love to do. My idea would be that on a Monday, I buggered off somewhere nice and then wild camped, except not really camping in a van, you know, somewhere remote on a Monday night and then drove back on a Tuesday. And I just loved the idea of being somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but warm and snug and safe, and with food and with drink, and ideally with a mobile phone signal, and just waking up to nothing, you know, just openness. And I started looking at bits on YouTube, and I came across one particular channel called Will's Whereabouts, and it struck a chord because he'd just got back from Nepal. He's a young kid. And then he converted his parents' unused and replaced Ford Galaxy, and I had just bought, or I was just about to buy, a Ford Galaxy. So it all, yeah. And I've half watched some of his videos over the time. And he's a big channel. He must earn amazing money from it. You know, he's one of the over 100,000 subscriber merchants, and with merch and all sorts. And he's gone from this converted Galaxy to a proper custom built, full on stealth big van now with, you know, with everything in it. And he's traveled around Europe and whatnot. And I just thought, oh, I haven't watched one for months, and I watched one last night or the night before. Watched one or two, and he's a really successful YouTuber, and you'd think that he's absolutely living the life, and it's killing him. It's killing him. The solitary nature of being a YouTuber, um, especially doing what he does, which is, you know, solo, mostly solo camping, um, and it's killing him. It's killing his mental health, and he's actually applied for a proper job. He's applied to be a firefighter. Now he will be earning reasonably big money. Um, you can go online and look at. There are sites that will tell you, that will give you a rough idea of kind of the minimums that monetized YouTube channels earn. Um, but that doesn't include their other earnings from Patreon and super subscriptions and channel memberships and selling merch and whatnot. But the subs figures and the views figures that he's got means that the kid, and he's only a kid, he's 27 or something. He must be earning very high five figures, 18, 90 grand a year, which is decent dough, especially when you're a youngster on your own. And it's getting to him so much that he wants a proper job because he needs that. It's not the money. He just needs the structure and companionship and all of that in his life. And I totally get that. I could never have, even doing it at the small level that I am now, I could never have done this when I was younger, I don't think. And I've not been doing it all that long. But I can totally see how it would get to people. Similar thing happened with, well, not really the same, but there was an episode or two of Hubnet that really moved me when Ian was going through a bad time. And the one where he packed up and left his marital home and went off to New Zealand and Australia for however long it was, which, in a sense was a mighty adventure. But fucking hell, his marriage had broken down. He was leaving his home, and he left his marital home with his luggage to go down to Heathrow to get his flight. And it was heartbreaking. And a little while before that, he'd done an episode where he was talking about struggling with things, and it's not. Hats off to people that do it and do it properly, because it's depending on what you do and how you do it, it can be. I can imagine it can be quite difficult. For me, so far, it's kind of the opposite. I live, as you guys know, I live a quiet and secluded solo life here, but I've got my restaurant life as well, and I love where I am. I love being in the middle of nowhere, and I don't mind my own company. I'm very often alone, but I seldom feel lonely. But the YouTube thing, and it doesn't come as entirely new to me because I've done the social media thing with singles, but I don't know how I can put this. It doesn't strike me as being confirmation that I'm alone. It has the opposite effect. It makes me feel that I'm not alone. It makes me feel that I'm in company, that I have additional friends and a community, and it's really good for me. It's really healthy so far, but I can see how it could turn, and it's something that, going back to singles and the fact that they're not dynamic, this is why I try to get them to be dynamic, because when you're single and when you're alone, it can be really hard on your mental health, and anxiety, depression, loneliness, they're all very real things. And a great way to combat them is to dive into the social media or even YouTubing thing. For if for no other reason, it can make you up your game. So if you're, and I've got many members who are in this situation. Imagine, perhaps you are, I hope you're not, but imagine you live alone. Imagine you were unemployed. Imagine you have mental health issues. How easy would it to be to get up on a foggy winter's day like today, and to get up late and to not get dressed, and to not have a shower, and to not brush your hair, to not brush your teeth, to not clean your home, but to just veg out? I know how easy it could be. I could very easily do it, very easily. Um, it's and if you do something, then it can make you buck yourself up a bit, and it will make you put positive slants on things, and it will force you to be positive about your own life. Um, that's why I started Dish of the Day and doing the food pics and whatnot, to jerk people out of eating expensive, unhealthy crap, and to get a bit of pride and to get a bit of focus in their day. Um, but, oh, hidden comment. But yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that, because always, don't always take everything at face value when somebody pops up on YouTube, especially if they're telling you how fabulous everything is. Because even the really successful ones, they could still be struggling with something or other. And I mentioned this to Mustard. We had a late night phone call last night. I'm sure that a lot of the people watching might be struggling as well. Because if you're drawn, and I don't mean this to sound patronising, I watch YouTube videos. And I watch them because the ones that I watch, I enjoy. I'm interested in, I'm invested in. But you could argue that some people could be drawn to watching YouTube videos to live vicariously, because there's something missing in their own life, and they get to live something out through somebody else. And I'm not suggesting for one moment that that's the case for many people. I'm sure many people have got amazing, happy, fulfilled lives, and they watch bits on YouTube because they enjoy that channel, and that's brilliant. But I've always got half an eye on what's going on behind, and that's why I would like to push the real life and the virtual community aspect of whatever the fuck it is that I'm doing here, sitting waffling at people at bloody 1:45 in the morning. And I will shut up in a minute. I've gone on far too long, I know. But I'm all about pushing the community side of things, and not just with my channel. I know that many of you who watch me watch other channels that I probably watch myself as well. And I'd love us all to become a big melting pot of a community where, either on YouTube, in the community tab, or on the videos, or on Facebook, we can all just mingle a bit, because we're all like-minded souls, and I'm sure we'll all get something from it. But I just wonder whether there might be a few who might get that little bit more from it. So there you go. It's 1:15, my lovelies. I've got a kebab to eat, and I've got more wine to drink, and I'm sure I've got some other jobs to do that I've forgotten about. So if you, it's probably time to wrap up. So I'll go and have my last half a puff. I've got. Oh, I'm trying to show you. I've got that much left. This one cigarette has lasted me all through the doings. So, yeah, I'll go and have my last half a puff, leave you guys to say goodnight to each other, and then we'll do the big good night and turn off. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and any other time. And I can't thank you enough for all of the interaction and the comments and the laughs and the. I tell you all the time, you're probably bored of hearing it, but honest to God, you mean the world to me. And I'm so grateful to you all. And I can't wait to meet you all in real life and shake you firmly by the hand, or, hold you in a manly embrace. Say your good night. I'm going for my puff. Right. There we go. Apologies that I was late starting tonight, a few minutes late. If you didn't catch the first bit, I've been in Sheffield tonight. I decided to have uh, just a bit of an old school night out, just me, nothing to it, but I went to the casino that I used to use as a local pub and caught up with some people and saw some old faces and had a drive around the big bad city and went in search of an authentic kebab place because I missed the kebabs that I've been having with mustard. And I had a great night, and it was a lovely change. Wouldn't want to do it all the time, but it was a lovely change. I'm really looking forward to the kebab I've got from my new favourite kebab place, Chicken Shawarma, if you're interested, with all of the doings on a freshly made naan bread. So can't wait for that. And of course, I've got my extra portion of meat that was free because they're just the nicest people in the world. Mustard, I'm going to take you there one day. We'll go there for lunch. So apologies for that. Apologies that because I was out tonight, I didn't set the live up in advance so you could see that you had confirmation that it was going to be here. And apologies for anybody who saw me in the bath. I would promise that I will never do that again, but I probably will. Some of the comments were really quite funny. And I love the fact that people were so scandalised, outraged, but it might have ruined my channel like percentage thingy, but that'll come back. And I got good views and I got good watch hours, and bad publicity is better than no publicity. God, I might do a short one of these days of me sitting on the bog. That'll really break the bloody internet, wouldn't it? Dear, oh dear. So there we are. Thank you for your company tonight. I love these live streams. I really, really do. I wouldn't do them otherwise. We will develop them in time. I will embrace some technology so that I can include some of you guys more. Oh, excuse me, bit of kebab there. Lovely, tasty. And we'll develop lots of things as we go along. Thank you for your company. Thank you for the congratulations for the 600 thing. I'll do a milestone moment of some sort for when I hit the 4,000 watch hours, but I'm not celebrating any subscriber numbers, partly because, like I say, it could just be a flash in the pan like happened before, and then it just goes flat for a while. But I'll celebrate 4,000 watch hours, but then no milestone moments then until the big 1,000 subs, which, who knows when, if ever, it will come. So thank you. Thank you for your company. Thank you for tuning in. What have you got coming up? I don't know what you got coming up this week. I haven't got it all mapped out. Tomorrow you have got, tomorrow you will have the sausage sandwich video. And on Wednesday you will have the Sheffield going to the casino and finding a kebab video. And on Thursday you'll have Christ only knows, either something that I do tomorrow or Wednesday, see what the weather's like, or I might do a driving to work on a Thursday, or I don't know, whatever. There'll be something there that you won't like. That's it. Good night, everybody. Have a safe and peaceful night, and can't wait to catch you next time. Next live stream will be Thursday night, 11 o'clock. Cheers. Good night. Oh. No, I won't do that. I won't do that. I was thinking of it, but I won't. Oh dear. Good night, my loves. Take care.